What's up, YouTube? Back at it again with another story time. All right, we're gonna get right into the story today. This is from one of my supporters named Ava. Just so you guys know, if you guys have any supernatural, paranormal, creepy stories you'd like me to share, go ahead and hit my links up and go send those over to me, and so I can get them out. All right, so Ava experience with werewolves and warlocks. Y'all ready for it? All right, let's get right into it. So Ava lives in California. I'm not going to tell you guys exactly where because Ava might have gave me a little bit too much information during the story, so I had to actually take out information because it's almost easy to track the people in this story. A lot of them are not alive in this at all in life anymore, but you can track down the families, and it gets a little sticky at that point. So Ava had always had like supernatural, paranormal experiences happen to her whole entire life. Like Ava Lilly survived the 1989 California earthquake with a feeling and an instinct that made her leave. So and she could have just literally lost her life. So since that, she would always get into situations and get into things that she would have to avoid. So Ava worked for a family. I believe, let's say they were a little bit wealthy. So the family had a little bit of money. They lived in California, but it was like a quiet farmland type of area, not like nothing crazy going on. So sorry, the family that she was babysitting for or nannying for, I'm sorry, I meant, they was grocery shopping or went some type of shopping. So they have her in the car, and they have three children, by the way. So they asked Ava, could she stay in the car? Put my notes down. Could she stay in the car as they unload the car? Ava says, sure. As Ava is unloading the car, well, I'm sorry, as the parents are unloading the car and Ava is sitting in the car with the kids, three young adults, maybe around 20s, early 20s, three young gentlemen walked up to the car. So Ava just thought they were just people walking past the car. The kids asleep in the car. So she's just sitting waiting. But she's like, they came up to the car and they were doing something weird. They were like sniffing, like sniffing in the air and looking around as if they were trying to track down something. So Ava started getting weirded out immediately. Like she was like, should I get the kids and like take them and run inside? Then after that, gang, an older guy comes and walks right up to them and tells them to get going basically. He literally slaps one behind the head and tells them to get going. And he tells Ava, "Oh, they're not gonna harm you. Nothing is wrong. Everything is cool." And Ava thought that was so weird. And I'm over here like, sounds like a pack of wolves to me. Pounds of wolves. There was some young cubs out there, and that was their alpha. That's my assumptions. So Ava literally snatches up the kids and run inside. Years later, Ava reconnects with one of her male friends. Let's call him Paul. So, because I'm leaving most of everybody's names out in the story, just so you know. So, don't try to track these people down. So, Paul and Ava grew up together, essentially. They reconnected after a few years. Paul at the time was dating a woman, and she had three kids as well. And the woman's baby daddy basically is a alleged werewolf. Oh, sorry, alleged warlock in the town. Warlock, yes, y'all, warlock. Allegedly, of course. Everybody in the town thinks there's assumptions of it. So one day she is driving with Paul, and the car starts overheating. So the car is overheating. They pull over, like anybody would do, and try to let the car calm down, until they can start driving again. Y'all, tell me why, as they're sitting there, a car starts like flying up the alley towards their way and looks like it's gonna hit them. And they're looking like, what is going on? And Ava said at the last minute it swerves out of the second, but not like on its own. It seemed like she said she felt like it was a protection, like something pushed it out the way. So the car, she said, kept circling and circling around them, which she thought was so weird. And then one point when the car finally is slowed down and caught eye contact with Ava, it was the same old guy that she seen outside when she was nannying for those 3 kids. When she took the kids and ran inside, it was the same old guy that was smiling, being weird, slapped those 3 boys in the back of the head and told them to go inside. But the boys didn't give them no expression, no energy, and he was really creepy as well. So as he is staring at Ava, right, he crashes into a fence, which crashes into a water line. And Ava's like, she jumps out the car instantly because she's like, he hit it hard, and she just thought he was hurt at that moment. She wasn't even worried about all the nonsense he was just doing to her and Paul in the car. So Ava runs over to the car. As soon as she says she gets close enough, he backs up the car. The car is in shambles, by the way. She says she gets a glimpse of him. He doesn't look hurt, harm, or damaged. The car is not on fire or anything. So, and he just takes off. She was like, that was so weird. So after that situation with Paul, she starts dating a cop. And at this point, she's working back for the family. I know she had left nannying for that family at some point, even when she was with Paul, because she was going to nursing school. But now she had went back to working with the family at some point. And the family might have they moved maybe one town over, if I do remember it correctly. So one town over, I'm not going to tell you exactly where, because if I feel like I tell you guys, you will find out where this whole everything takes place. And you guys are very smart. Let's be real. Y'all on the internet, y'all better than real investigators, so let's keep us all out in trouble and let's just enjoy the story. So boom, she goes back with the family. She's dating a cop at this point. And she says the cops in that town know a lot that's going on about the supernatural and the paranormal world. They actually have experts, I'm going to say experts in air quotes, that actually only deal with the paranormal things that go on in that town. So she said it was a meteor shower or so. I don't even know if I should tell you guys that. I feel like you guys are going to look back when was the last meteor shower. But I think that's so, y'all won't be able to figure it out. So there was a meteor shower, and he picked her up, like, to have, like, a date night, to look at the meteor showers, It was like, back in the day. It was a while ago. So cool. They're driving. They're having a time. The meteor shower. So she starts driving through an area that's known to basically Paul's baby mom, the warlock, where his family, like, areas that his family owns, like farmland, like his family owns. So they're driving through that area, right? And she says she swears her and her cop boyfriend see a child hanging from, like, a hook with a sheet over it. They're like, what? So she said she instantly starts panicking. Ava is hyperventilating, stressing out, and her cop boyfriend, he wants to just turn around because that's his job. That he's supposed to protect and serve, right? So he wants to go back and see if everything's okay and investigate. And they're literally arguing back and forth really, really bad because she says she is so stressed and panicking, like she does not want him to go back there. She just thinks something bad is gonna happen, and it's about to get worse. So stay with me. So they argue so bad, he literally drives her home and drops her off. So he calls one of his cop buddies. So someone just followed me. Thank you guys. Appreciate you guys. So he one of his cop buddies, he calls him, right, y'all? And the cop buddy says, you were perfectly right, and that was a good idea for you to avoid going back and avoid investigating. You shouldn't do nothing like that. He's like, wow. He's like, we have people that basically investigate that. You don't do that. I said, damn, goddamn. So they actually both of them go back to that hook, that flag, whatever they were driving past, and they said there was nothing there besides melted wax. So some way, somehow, I feel like it was a ritual going on, and she basically said that there's a coven of warlocks there, and they do a lot of rituals and a lot of strange things go on. And she said precisely after all of that she saw, both towns had a like a like a not normal growth in its like financials, the ecosystem. Their housing development went out of control. Like it was crazy. Like both towns started doing really, really good out of nowhere. And I was like, yeah, they're definitely doing some sacrifice rituals and spells for sure. But here's the weird part. She said that Paul Paul was found dead in his car a block away from her house. Yeah. She said the car was on fire and Paul was inside. The body was inside. A block away. Yup. And she said, oh, his girlfriend and the kids, they went missing. Completely missing. Nobody could find them. Nobody knows where they're at. And she said their father, the alleged warlock, well, there's been multiple attempts on his life, and he's supposed to be unalive, but she doesn't think so. She thinks none of the attempts were successful. So I was like, well, this story gets more and more interesting as we go on. So here's a connection I made. So I said, what is going on with those family, the nanny, the people that she was nannying for, that family? Because y'all hear me out. Let me know if I'm wrong. All right? Let me know in the comments. But if you're a parent, a lot of parents follow me, right? It's three of y'all. The mom, the dad, and the nanny. And there's three kids. Why not take a child each and go in the house? And then the man come back and get the groceries, and the mom or the nanny stay inside with the kids. Like it just wasn't making sense to stay in the car with three kids and unload the car and get the kids. I get not waking the kids up. I get that. I understand that. I'm an uncle. I understand we cannot wake them kids up. We don't want them to get up. It's gonna be terror. But I just feel like they gotta get up regardless. So I think you should get them up first. And there's three of y'all. So to me, it felt a little bit like setup energy, because also what y'all taking so long in the house, the point that three young boys could have walked up on her, then an old man walked up on her, anybody could have walked up on them, unalive them, shot them up, snatched them up, anything could have happened, y'all. So I was over here looking at the family crazy. And then why is both towns the family lives? They lived in the first part of the story where I told you about the three little teen wolves. That was one town. I almost told y'all that. I'm sorry. So close. The second town was right next to it, and they lived in both towns. So I'm like, they got to be wrapped up in this somehow. So then Ava tells me, yes, she has stories about the family that she can't share with me. But I'm gonna need Ava to share the story with me. So Ava, if you see these videos, I know you're one of my supporters. I'm gonna need you to share it so we can get this part 3 out, and this last part, I'm gonna need you to share and connect all these dots together, because something is going on with that family. I don't know if it's a family of witches or family of warlocks, or they're definitely a family of an entity family, because you're not gonna tell me there's werewolves in this town, then they live in a town, and then there's another town with warlocks. Paul end up unalive because he's messing with the wrong baby mom. The kids disappear, the baby mom disappeared, and the daddy disappeared. and it's well-known families and people. This is crazy. Nah, this is crazy, y'all. This is really, really crazy. So I don't know if I'm gonna get the rest of that story, but I just wanted to share it with y'all. And yeah, at least I got somewhere with it. But I'm onto it. I'm onto that family, and I do feel like Paul might have been a sacrifice as well. Cause did nobody see a car on fire on the street overnight? Yeah. It's, and I heard a lot of my supporters told me in California there's a lot of covens and rituals and a lot of that stuff going on in California as it is. So yeah, I don't know what to say, y'all. This is really, really crazy. I don't know how to wrap my mind around this. I rarely, rarely get warlock stories or any male witches stories, so it's a lot to take in because the ones I know about are more of like shamans or practitioners, people that use hoodoo, and so I've never really heard of any, you know, dark wizards, real Malfoy, Draco Malfoy. Not even Draco Malfoy. I would give. I don't even think no villains, no TV show villains is on that point. Yeah. Besides like the main villain in Harry Potter, but yeah, he don't even look like a creature of this being. He looked like the guy off Lords of the Ring. My precious. My precious. Oh, I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Thank you guys. This is another great story time. I'm going to try to give you guys this more often. I'm going to really try back to back for at least the next 3 months. Because y'all know consistency builds discipline, and discipline just builds habit. So once you do this enough times, it just feels regular to you. So you guys already know I'm a full-time content creator. I post every single day. But, long content is new to me, as well as streaming and going live every day, which I'm doing every day. So make sure you guys tap in with me on my Twitch, Cube Oxley, or you can check my other YouTube, which is Q Oxley, Cubeoxley. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. As always, this is only for entertainment purposes, all allegedly, hypothetically speaking. I don't want no problems. Yeah. So that's all I wanted to say. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. And just call me back later. Because it's getting creepy. It's getting weird out here. All right. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Don't forget Ancestral Shadows drops this summer, as well as Forbidden Lore Season 3. The podcast drops this summer as well. So we have a lot to look for. IRL streams, Houston DreamCon, Kemet with Billy Carson. There's a lot going on this year. So I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. We going up this year.